And what's cracking, you guys? Welcome to the Mango Grove. This is a bit of a new setup. Give me a thumbs up on whether or not the audio is okay. Can you see me? Can you hear me well? Can you see Sean? Sean is on screen today as well. We're gonna try something new today. How's everybody doing? We got Michael B in here. Mrs. Scratch Happy. That's a very creative name. Justin, how's it going, Justin? James, Hundo. Okay, cool. Give us a thumbs up, guys. Is the audio a-okay? How's it going, Scotty? It's been a while, guys. It's been a while. We figured, hey, when the volatility kicks in, that's often the best times to be going live, right? And irrespective, volatility is the lifeblood of any market, of every market. It's perfect, Moody Marv. How's it going? How's it going, Ariza? Hello, everybody. Oh, this is a new setup. I'm really excited for this, guys. Are you excited too? You guys finally have both of us on screen. And of course, I'm doing all the talking there. Sean's just looking. He's looking handsome there on cam and not saying anything.
I'm keeping an eye on the chat. Also, you're the star of the show now, Krisha. Get used to it.
Absolutely not. Okay, and you guys, the chat is on the screen as well. Okay, cool. This is a nice setup. And hey, if this works and you guys enjoy the dynamic today, then we're always going to dynamic. Get it? If you guys enjoy the dynamic today, then of course we're gonna be doing this more often. How's it going, Shervin? Shervin, you were here yesterday as well, and then like the stream went bust. Oh, the one time Shervin made it, like finally after so long. Okay, dokes.
Chauvin's too good for Mango now. He has more important things like, our new baby, a newborn. Like that's supposed to matter. Jeez. Again,
Mango baby,
congratulations,
Sean.
Chauvin.
It's a mango baby.
Yeah, it is Mango baby.
ADA shaping up nicely in the Livermore speculative chart. We'll check it out. ADA is on the agenda today. So with that, I think we have enough people in here. I'm still sort of getting used to a new interface for myself. So what we're gonna do is we're just going to begin in 3, 2. I'm gonna switch this. Okay, brilliant. You guys should be able to see my chart. Sean, can you see everything a-okay?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Mango baby, how's it going, Vlad? Okay, nice. So Bitcoin, of course, everybody is aware of the most recent volatility that we saw kick in to the downside, particularly, well, honestly, I think the weekly looks great, but I get it. At least me, for one, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, myself, to Sean, I was actually not expecting this volatility kicking into the downside. Okay. In fact, yeah, I was not expecting the volatility to kick into the downside to this extent. However, Sean actually, Sean, you flipped bearish last week. And then very recently, like a couple before the dump happened, you actually put out an exclusive video on Seed explaining your thoughts. And I was hoping that you could do the same for everybody today on stream as well. Why did you turn bearish? Like, what made you flip just suddenly? Because we were on the opposite sides of this. I'm like, no, I just do not see this happening. But you're like, no, this is turning bearish. So what made you flip?
So before I begin, just a quick audio check on my end too. You guys, it says Sean's camera is a bit out of focus for sure. Krisha, it looks fine. Wait, maybe. How's that?
It's too low, too high.
Better?
Cam check. Sean's camera's out of focus for sure. Let me see. Can I do anything?
It's probably on my end. It's probably on my end.
Yeah, I think there's a setting that you can pick, Sean, that's going to help you set a stream at 1080p.
Oh.
Is it better now? Can you like?
How do I do that?
I'm checking. This is all very new for me as well. No.
Okay, I think I got it.
Okay, cool.
Okay, we can just honestly, who cares if I'm blurry? Who cares? Okay, so you guys can hear me, right? That's what's most important, because the camera doesn't matter. Okay, so yeah, we can continue.
So I'm gonna ask this for people joining in again, guys.
Yeah.
Sean flipped bearish last week, just suddenly, and we were on the opposite sides of this. I just did not see price coming down, and Sean's like, no, this is turning here, like at least for briefly, right? It's turning bearish. So Sean, what made you flip bearish? Like, tell everybody.
Okay,
what was it?
Okay, so two things though before to set the premise. It wasn't sudden, right? We were prepping for this for a while, for months actually. And two, I'm not like bearish for the cycle. I'm bearish short term. I would say midterm. Maybe for the next 4 to 6 weeks, and even then, it's not the kind of bearish where I would be flat out shorting everything I see, right? You got to be extremely, extremely picky about what you're bearish on. And we're going to talk about that today. We are going to, I'm going to expand on that. With that out of the way, right? I'm not bearish on the cycle, and it wasn't sudden. Let's explain that. For months now, not months, for years now, and especially at the beginning of the year, I've been telling you guys to not get caught up into the entire 4-year cycle, and instead what we should be doing is follow the mango cycle, which is 6-month cycles, right? We follow these 6-month cycle bursts, 6-month cycle consolidations, whatever they end up being. If we play our trades, especially for altcoins, on a 6-month basis, you are going to find yourself so much better off, far less stressed out. Anxiety reduces. It's just a more mango stress-free approach to trading the markets, which is why I call it the mango cycle, right? So we have noticed since 2019, we noticed it first, and then we started trading it more deliberately around 2020, 2021, that, hey, if you follow 6-month bursts, it's a lot easier to trade the cycles, right? And then coincidentally, Krisha, it ended up being lining up perfectly with your birthday and my birthday, right? The beginning of your birthday and the end of my birthday, or vice versa, because our birthdays are exactly 6 months apart. But to the day, it ends up happening to the day, right? So, for example, if you pull up your chart, right, Krisha, I think you're looking at, what time frame are you looking at?
I'm looking at the daily time frame.
Let me just share. We can do this.
I can share. Let me know if your screen is ready, and you can share. You can dissect your.
So what I'll do, okay.
Sean's going to share his screen, so it's going to be a bit more interactive.
Okay, yeah, here you go. You can share my screen.
Alrighty.
No drawings.
Okay, there we go. You're on.
So here we are. We're looking at Bitcoin again on the 2-day time frame. And again, guys, as long as the 2-day dynamic is holding, we cannot trigger any short trades, right? You do not want to be deliberately looking for downside. But now you can be bearish, but you don't want to be. There's a difference between having a bearish mindset and putting on a bearish trade, right? Sometimes you may have a bearish mindset, but there's no active trade to put on. Okay, so first let's address the whole 6-month thingy, right? When looking at 6-month phases, right, it's always confusing as to where do you pick as your starting point, right? Especially in a move like this, where you have a consolidation like this area over here. Where did the 6 months begin? Did it begin here? Did it begin here? You don't know. It's the same story with Fibonacci's. Like, people don't know which high to pick. The further out you zoom out, like if you go on the high time frames, it's easier to pick the highs and the lows. But when you're looking at the low time frames, right, when you're looking at 6-month cycles, it could be a tad bit difficult. But we kept it very mango. We kept it very easy. And we're like, hey, let's just use Krisha's birthday as an anchor. Let's just use Sean's birthday as an anchor, right? Because it has been working out for years now. And what do you know, Krisha? Right, the key low, which has always been the key low for me, ended up being like, if you just look at this entire consolidation here, Krisha, right?
Right.
People will always have to deliberate between, is it this low or this low, right?
Right.
I've always said that it's this low that mattered, because the structure that we always look for in these kind of bottoming consolidations is you put, like, for example, let's say you top somewhere like here and then you break down, right? What ends up happening is, especially if you guys are in the C program and you watched your institutional order flow module, you will understand why this happens, right? You see prices bounce, everybody gets weighted in, and then we come back down. There's no high low. There's a liquidity tap right over here, which is underneath this low here, and then we continue. But this is the low that sets the 6-month cycle low, right? The mango cycle low, right? So that idea happened to line up, Krisha. I'm not sure whether you noticed this, with your birthday, exactly on March 10th. Look at her face. She didn't know.
Oh, that is literally exactly on the dot March 10th.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So now you take 6 months, you take the mango cycle away from that, right? Again, what is 6 months, guys? 180 days, right? 6 times. Yeah. So you go 180 days, right? And to the T, what does it line up with? 6th September, my birthday, right? Look at her face, right? And this happens cycle after cycle, right? Now, again, guys, you don't want to get too like precise with this, okay? You don't want to get precise with this. Like Michael Howell likes to say, it is approximately correct and precisely wrong. This time, however, it's turning out to be precisely correct as well. So we are seeing Krisha's birthday, March 10th, mark in a key low. And then my birthday, I was always wondering, do we put in a high on my birthday or do we put in the low on my birthday? Okay. Now, the way cycles usually work is that you could either, let me just draw it out. Like, people get confused, right? People think that cycles have to do this, like something big, up and down. No, cycles could very well do this, where this is one cycle. You put in a high low, it ends with a bull flag, and then you have another cycle, right, where it goes the way people expect it to go. So cycles could have a high low, or cycles could actually even go like this, right? In my opinion, you could have a consolidation cycle as well, right? Now, this is how I break down markets. Other people may have different opinions. It doesn't matter. Don't let people's jargon draw you into a cult-like mindset. All that matters is, how can I simplify this as much as possible to make it actionable for myself? You'll find a lot of smart genius traders out there, right, who have like all these complex ways of breaking down the markets, but it's not actionable, which is why there's a difference between an actual trader and a forecaster or an analyst, right? You need to understand that if you want to be a trader or an actual investor, your job is to refine your process down and make it as simple as possible. So you could have complex ideas, but your job is to make it simple so you can execute on it. With that out of the way, we have a very, very simple idea where we are looking for cycles to start at a 6-month point and then either end with a high or end with a low. It's a lot easier for it to end with a low, because then you have a bull flag setting up for another cycle. So, Krisha, my bearish mindset was actually a bullish long-term mindset, right? Because it allows me to reposition for a higher low into a bull flag structure in my mind that gives us that next leg up. Because remember, Krisha, where did the idea of we could be topping on my birthday come from? The fact that I set a target at the beginning of the cycle at around 17K, 16K. Those of you who've been following me since then, Scotty is here, Hen is here, Sherwin is here. So you guys know that I set a cycle target for $120,000, Okay.
Right.
Now, that's just a target. A target is where you take profits and you get ready for the next trade, etc. That doesn't mean that the trade needs to end there. It's your target. Okay. The market could take it much higher. I never ever ascribe to the idea that you can pick the exact high or the exact low. So if 120 is already hit and my targets are hit, I need to start getting into the cautious mindset, and we may, just may, end up having a overshoot above my target to like 130K, 140K, which ends up being around, again, my birthday. And then we could see a major cycle low, right? At that point, we're looking at the 4-year cycle, 3-year cycle, whatever people want to call it. But this was the more bullish idea, where we put in something leading into my birthday, and then we dip, right? So I didn't know which one it was going to be. I don't care. I was going to trade it one way or the other, right? Because we don't try to pick tops, we look for signs. This, guys, and again, if you guys in the C program, we talked about this. This was the big sign, right? High, high, right? Now, your SFP traders are likely calling this a swing failure pattern, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't really matter. If you just look at candlestick analysis, trend analysis, M-like formation, pattern analysis, there's so much going on over here. Look at your oscillators, there's bearish divergence as well. There's so much going on over here. You don't need to be a genius and add all these fancy terms to be like, that's not the kind of price action that you want to see. The market is clearly rejecting price going up further. And it's lining up with around the time you should be putting in a bull flag structure for a 180-day cycle, right? Or 6-month cycle. So it's just like, okay, all of these technical details which come first, coupled with the fact that I am now beginning to see on YouTube, on Twitter, multiple people have this idea, right? Where the markets are going to top into September, dump into late September / beginning of October, and then rally into October, November, December, right? It's going to be perfect. Just like every other cycle that things have played out, it's going to be exactly like that. It was far, far too reminiscent to the same idea, the same redundant idea. I'm boring, guys, and boring makes money. I said something very similar in December 2024, where everyone was expecting the inauguration day to be the big sell the event day, right? But because that expectation, people were expecting an expectation in anticipation of the expectation of the expectation, we were like, okay, what if it happens a bit earlier, 2 weeks earlier, right? Now I was expecting it to happen more towards December 30th, while everyone was expecting the market to top. I think what was it? Inauguration was Jan 14th or something. I forget. Either way, we said let's give it 2 weeks earlier, but it actually ended up happening around, I think, December 20th, right? The market stopped for that, somewhere around there. We had December 16th, right? So we had a rejection, a rally into a dump into the inauguration day, somewhere around here, and then another rally, top, bottom. So the same idea. You apply over here, and then you realize, okay, what if it all happens a month earlier, right? What if it happens in August instead, right? That would sit in line perfectly with a cycle where we see a 150-day rally and a 1-month drawdown perfectly, right? Let's draw it out perfectly. So we're looking around September 6th or 8th. Again, approximately correct, precisely wrong, right? That would be 155 days to the first stop, 126 to the 126 to the first stop, and 155 days to the second top. And then we're looking at around 30 days of consolidation to draw down. That would be too ideal, though. Let's give it a tad bit more time. Let's give it 45 days. Around September 20th, maybe we may start seeing things, look better. Now, again, remember, guys, the next, and people forget this. A cycle doesn't mean up cycle only. It could be in a sideways cycle. And that's what you guys likely want if you want your altcoins to rally, right? You don't want Bitcoin to go on an absolute tear. So you guys want me to be wrong on this bull flag idea and upside. What you guys want instead is this to turn into a consolidation cycle where we do something weird with volatility, and each time the market shakes people out of major altcoin trades while the altcoins keep going up and up and up. And then maybe later into the end of the year, we can see Bitcoin have its final push. So yeah, I'm sorry, I went on for this long. Yeah, I'll let you have.
Okay, so you're basically, so just to sum this up, correct me, of course, if I get anything wrong. Your entire thesis was based on the fact that Bitcoin's one of the key signatures that we've been seeing throughout this entire cycle. I think we can all agree that this has been a very neat cycle. It's been excruciating, but it's been neat in that it's very like, there's a very clear signature. And if you got the patience, you know what, you're probably making money. But you're saying that so far one of the dominant signatures has been this 180-day cycle.
Yeah,
and the 180-day cycle, sorry?
Yeah, go on.
Has often, so now March, I'm gonna show you guys some data, by the way, that shows you just how shitty the month of March is. It's like a timer. But the month of March marks like almost like a pivotal point in the cycle. And if you're looking at 180 days out, that'll often mark, well, the end of a cycle. And that, of course, always in every year is always going to line up with September. So just given that 180-day cycle thesis, Sean, you're saying that, okay, in September, we're either putting in some sort of high or some sort of low.
Yeah.
And then based on that, you've come up with the entire like theory that, okay, we could, depending on what price does right now, we could actually see a pullback into the month of September, giving us that low before the cycle then continues. Now,
Yeah.
I agree with you in that, let's face it, guys, okay, if there's one theme that is very prevalent, or still is actually prevalent across the board, it's the theme that, and I fell for the same thing, okay, I was in the same boat as many other analysts out there, in that September, everyone was calling a September top. I mean, chime into the comments. Tell me if we were the only people looking at September top. I personally know multiple analysts out there also looking for that September top. Everyone seemed to have had some level of confluence on the month of September being that next local top. And it comes down to that main point, right, Sean? Like, when is majority of the market ever right on something? It's almost priced in.
Yeah.
Right? So I see your thesis in that. Sorry, go on.
So if you have to just think about it logically, right? When everyone's talking about something, they can't help but express that opinion in some way into the market, right? In some way or the other, they're expressing it. Now, let's say everybody's expecting the market to have a massive rally into September. They're going to do one of two things ahead of time. They're either going to put on positions or they're not going to sell positions, right? One of the two they're going to do. Even though they might be thinking to themselves, okay, you know what? I'm expecting September to be a top, or rather a massive rally, and then we dump into October. They may not go and act by buying, but they're most definitely not selling.
Yeah.
Right? They're most definitely not selling. Like, if you have that opinion and you're feeling that bullishness, why would you sell? Right? So it's being priced in one way or the other, because you have removed sell pressure at the very least. Some people don't get that. People think in a very isolated manner where they're like, oh, hey, I'm not buying, right? So I'm not acting on my bullishness. No, you are. You are, because you're not selling either. You're not placing hedges, etc., etc. Your position size might be a tad bit bigger than it otherwise would have been. All of these things. So it gets priced in if a narrative is loud. One way or the other is being priced in. So this September narrative was getting extremely loud, and markets tend to rise, or rather our markets have been rising in a steady rising fashion because of uncertainty, because of the wall of worry, right? That's the most bullish setup. And without leverage, you're not going to see the parabolic move, and no one is bullish enough to put on massive leverage. Right? So we had the perfect setup at the moment, right? Which is why I'm not cyclical bearish yet. If we see the signs, I will get cyclical bearish, and I'll again tell you guys. Just like, the other day I was far too tired to do a video on YouTube, live stream, But I was like, I need to get this video out for the seedlings, and I pushed it out to you guys so you guys can get ready for the idea. Markets have been coming down since, so.
So this is and I'm noticing the comments right now. Infinity, okay, Infinity is asking about XRP. We're going to be covering XRP in a bit. Honestly, right now, I don't think you guys should not be positioned in a way where this pullback should get you liquidated. Okay, I'm going to say that. What we're talking about right now is the cycles. You need to understand that even your altcoins, irrespective of what you're in, whether it's XRP, whether it's XLM, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The cycle is always going to be dependent on, how about this? Whether or not we're getting into bear market territory, okay, that's going to be dependent. That what's going to give you the tip is always going to be the index of that market. All right. For crypto, it's Bitcoin, okay, which is why we're looking at these cycles, which is why we're currently looking at this current pullback that we're in, right? So that's why the cycle and the cycle analysis that Sean is drawing out for you guys is very, very, very important. So listen up, because this is also going to affect your altcoin positions as well. It's going to give you an idea as to what happens to the altcoins from here on. All right. I asked Sean a very cool question, and we were having like a dinner discussion on this. If Bitcoin pulls back from here, okay, you can see his chart. Bitcoin pulls back, and say we break levels and stuff. And I asked him, I'm like, what are the chances? Say we even lose like that bull market, that monthly 10 SMA, which is, if we lose the monthly 10 SMA, I'm saying bear market territory. I'm keeping it that simple. Okay. Lose monthly 10 SMA, bear market territory. I then asked Sean, I'm like, okay, what are the chances of us getting an 80% drawdown? Because that's been the average drawdown on every cycle so far, right? And on rather every bear market so far. So I asked Sean, I'm like, okay, what are the chances of another 80% drawdown if we break right here? If this market reverses right here, what are the chances of that? So Sean, what do you think? I'm going to ask you that question again. What do you think are the chances of an 80% drawdown contingent on the market reversing right now, right here? Say this downturn that we're seeing propels Bitcoin into bear market territory.
Yeah, so that specificity is really, really important, right? Considering that we break down right over here. And guys, the reason Krisha's asking that way was because my first response to her, and it's going to be, I want you guys to know this too, is that I'm not buying the idea that Bitcoin is never going to see 80% drawdowns again. I'm not buying that Bitcoin won't see 9% drawdowns again. Okay, and I'm one of the most strongest Bitcoin bulls you will ever see, and I still think that we most definitely could see an 80% drawdown, because if I say otherwise, it would go against Mango principles as well. That being said, even Mango principles aside, Bitcoin will most definitely see 80% drawdowns in the future. That being said, at this juncture, with the information I have on hand, I find it difficult to see Bitcoin going down 80%, because I just don't think there are as many forced sellers that will show up right now that will make them sell at prices that they don't want to sell at, right? Because that's what pushes Bitcoin down, that last leg, right? From that 60% drawdown to that 80% drawdown, it comes from sellers that just have to sell no matter what, right? Cycle after cycle, it's come from sellers that are forced sellers, not because they want to sell their Bitcoin, right? You know, your tourists are selling way before that. They're selling at the 50% drawdown, 60% drawdown, because they can't stomach that volatility, right? People who are selling around 80%, yes, there's going to be some absolute naive tourists who manage to hold on past the 50%, 60%, but it's actually the people who just did not expect price to come down there whatsoever. They're like they hinge their entire portfolio leveraged on price not coming down there. Like, I mean, here's a quick example. I think 3AC, right? If I remember correctly, they didn't expect price to come down to 25,000 no matter what. Right? They had a massive liquidation level around 25, 27K, and price came down there, right? The market will find you. The market will effing find you, right? I don't think we have enough of that at the moment to push price down. When the market finds that pain point, I don't think there's enough people over there to push price down to 40K at this juncture, right? And that would be it, right? Kusha, 80% drawdown from the high would be around 40K.
I think around there.
That's cool. Yeah.
that looks so nasty. That looks horrible.
Yeah. So no, 80% would be around 20K, Kusha.
Oh, screw that. Oh.
Right.
Jason Y says no way 80% on Bitcoin. I don't think that
I
right
don't
now.
want you guys to ever think like that.
Leverage.
I don't want you guys to ever think like that, Jason. So one of the things again, and you guys know, I was so loud on this back then, even though I was and I'm a Bitcoin bull. I rejected the idea last cycle where everyone was saying Bitcoin will not pierce its previous all-time high, right? And I'm like, why? What magic rule is there that the markets have to abide by that rule, right? Is it hard coded into the markets protocol? The exchanges will all come and randomly spend all the money that they have to make sure that Bitcoin is going to stay above 20K? Because that was the narrative back then, guys. People had the same mindset. No way is Bitcoin going past 20K or underneath 20K, because it's never done that in the past. And I feel like when people have that strong idea, right, they price that in, right? That's a loud narrative, and the market will come and punish that. Another narrative on the flip side was, again, Kusha, you were part of this narrative too, right? There's no way Bitcoin is going to make an all-time high before the halving. Right, look at her. And our entire thesis at the time was Bitcoin is going to make an all-time high before the halving. And I wasn't counter trading, right? I don't do that. I don't take an idea that everyone's loud about and just counter trade it, right? I wasn't doing it. I called for an all-time high before the halving, and the probability of it happening increased because everyone said there's no way it's going to happen, right? People called me an idiot in the comments. People called me a scammer. I got name called. It was ridiculous how vehemently people believe that we're not going to get an all-time high before the halving, while the Ichimoku was telling me that there is a good possibility. But then with the narrative, it became a very, very good possibility that we see an all-time high before the halving, right? So a simple TA sets the tone, and then sentiment will be the catalyst. That's how I like to look at it.
Yeah.
So wait, where were we going with that? Jason was saying there's no way we're seeing 80%. I mean, why not tap all these lows? And then Jason, I don't see, honestly, I'm not buying the idea either. I'm not seeing it happen from here. But let's say we make our way to 250K, 300K, some crazy number to the upside, right? At that point, what will a 75% drawdown be? You don't see Bitcoin coming down to 60K at that point? I mean, I think we could.
Yeah. I think that's possible. 60K, I see it.
Guys, like if we don't, Jason literally just said 65K maybe, right? If you're okay with 65K, it could the drawdown could happen from a high price. All I'm saying is, guys, there is no reason for us to disclude an eventuality when we get nothing but our ego stroked by doing so. Just say, I don't know. The way you trade, the best traders say, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm prepped for it though, in case it does. Forecasters and analysts, they don't effing trade, man. I don't think they trade, because the shit they put out there is like, okay, cool, yeah, you've put it out there, but show me how you're going to trade this. It's not actionable. What you're showing is not actionable. It doesn't matter, right? Anyways, yeah, Kusha, go on.
I want to show you guys something cool. I'm going to just flip it on to my chart, or rather my screen. Give me a second. Okay, there we go. Now, this is something really, really, I brought this up in the previous live stream as well. This was basically Bitcoin's monthly returns year over year, right? And so I think this is a really, really fun grid. And if you look at the month of March, okay, you're looking at third column right here. You can see just how red this is, Sean? Like the month of March has always been like a gory month, like for the markets. It seems like an equal split, but think about it. From 2014 to 2018, we had like consecutive March, the month of March just being reds on reds on reds. But I think the most interesting, and I was thinking of Sean's 180-day cycle, right? I'm like, is there anything that we can find from March and September on each, on each year? Specifically on bull market years. Okay, let's just sort of concentrate on bull market years. Now, bull market years would be 20, I think 23, 24, 25, this cycle, bull market years. It's been a pretty steady cycle so far. As far as the previous one is concerned, we're looking at 2020 and 2021. Of course, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm getting anything wrong. I don't have my chart open right here. 2020 and 2021. Okay, that would be the previous bull run. And then, of course, we got 2016 and 2017, right? From, the one before that. That was that crazy altcoin cycle where everybody made a lot of money. We saw, rags to riches overnight. I think the most interesting sort of information that I'm getting from here is the month of August and the month of September. Okay, like you see, like Sean is right in that there are these 180-day cycles. But the month of August and the month of September, I think if you look at now, maybe I'm extrapolating too much, of course, correct me. But I'm noticing something here. If you just concentrate on the bull run years, okay, that year where the bull run has its final hurrah, right? That happened in 2021. That was last cycle. And before that, it happened in 2017, which is that crazy bull run that we saw, right? 2021, if you notice, the month of August was a green month, okay? The month of September, however, was when we actually saw the markets turn, right? That ended red. In the month of, in the bull market of 2017, Sean, August 2, we had a green month, plus 65%, only for September to give us a red close.
Yeah.
Right. And I think the one before that, just if you can double check for me, I think was 2013, if I'm not wrong. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to pull it up right here. 2013. Yes, 2013. Okay, the year of 2013. The month of August, when the month of August was green, September turned out to be red. So we're seeing like this I know it's not enough data points, okay, but it just seems like in that last year, that last hurrah year, if the month of August is green, that's when we likely see a low being set in the month of September. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that the bull market is done. It's just the low that gets set in after an impulsive move to the upside, right? So once again, if you're looking at the year 2025, now technically, if we're looking at the cycles and the way it's been playing out over historically, technically, 2025 should be that year where we have our final hurrah, right? Because this bull run has been running for the past, since Jan 2023. So for the past over 2 years, right? It's been running for over 2 years. Yeah, that's how far into the cycle we already are. So 2025 through that timeline should be, hey, our final hurrah year. So I'm looking at that as, okay, if August turns out to be a red month, Sean, historically speaking, September, we should see the pick-me-up in September.
But I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What probability would you place on the cycle top being in? And be honest. And don't borrow from the answer that, don't borrow from the discussion we had yesterday over dinner.
Okay. I'd say 40%.
That the cycle is done.
Cycle top is in. That's what you asked me. Is the cycle top?
Yeah, the cycle top is in. Yeah.
I say 40%.
Okay.
That's still pretty high.
Yeah, that's pretty high. Okay, good. I just want Mango to be to understand a couple of things. Okay, that this cycle has been running for a very long time. Okay, the cycle, like when we played the big Ichimoku trade, it was price. We noticed the cascading pattern, at around 17K, and we were entirely in our position by around 19.5K to 20K, right? So somewhere around here was when the cycle started, in our opinion, at the very least. And we're already looking at almost 1,000 days, okay? 1,000 days. So the cycle has been running for a while. Now, granted, altcoins haven't really done their moves yet. And I want you guys to keep in mind that a lot can happen in the last few months of a cycle. So the reason you don't want to be getting cute with trying to time the exact top was because I just want to give you guys a quick let's take a let me take a Binance was very new back then. We'll put up BTC on Coinbase.
Let me know when you want to share your screen, eh?
Oh, right. I thought I was sharing my screen. My
Yeah,
bad.
no, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
So, okay, yeah. So I was talking about this cascading pattern over here, guys, and how this cycle over here has already run like a good ignore everything else, but we are like 1,000 days, right? Yeah, almost 1,000 days. Now, I don't want you guys to try to time the exact top either, because I remember so clearly that this phase over here, guys, where Bitcoin ran from, let's say, here again, September, Kusha, from September to 20,000, guys, Bitcoin did a 3x, okay, from 3,000-ish to 20,000 in a span of 3 months. So if you're off by even a couple of months, you could be missing a 460% move on Bitcoin. Okay, and people have much larger size on Bitcoin versus other altcoins, or at least I hope you guys do. But it was only after this that everything else ran. It was only after this final push that you had your massive, crazy altcoin season, right? Things were pumping like mad after this. So missing that phase because you're out of the market could be extremely painful, and you'll remember that as bad as a bear market. It feels as bad as a bear market, missing these huge gains. So while we are at a delicate spot, it's prudent to understand that a lot can happen in a short period of time. So we will be here to give you guys the signals if the cycle actually does begin to look weak and breaking down, but we're not there yet.
Yeah. This is actually a really good segue into, well, I wanted to know your thoughts on, well, where Bitcoin dominance is at, because I don't know about you guys. Have you guys been watching Bitcoin dominance? That's been getting crushed. Bitcoin dominance just getting frigging crushed right now. So I want to know your thoughts on Bitcoin dominance as well as altcoin season. Like, also, Sean did do for those of you who did not catch, did you have a notification being sent out, Sean, on the seed, on the, well, that exclusive video that you did for the seedlings?
I think I did do a at seedlings, so I think the seedlings did get a notification.
Okay, so if you guys are in the seed program, Sean actually did like an exclusive video for you guys, which he posted on the Discord chat. Go ahead and watch that if you haven't already done so. Lots of like great stuff in there, and also he gives you like his like high level thesis on where he sees the market going. And yeah, I honestly think that if you guys are really looking, okay, first of all, I'm noticing a lot of people ask questions in that, what do I do from here? You know, how do I handle my position, liquidations, yada yada yada. Guys, there is no indicator that's going to be better than your education. You get into the seed, you're not going to get any, you don't need any indicator moving forward. Okay. In fact, just these sessions, it's going to help you. It's going to save you so much money just on the cycle tops as well. Okay. Because the insight that you get from here is also going to help you understand when is it time to be freaking taking profits off the table. The amount of times Sean has come in swinging, telling like in clutch, like, you know, even on the bear market bottom, like Sean, I think you posted it for the seedlings. You posted on Twitter. Bitcoin is sitting at 17K. Bitcoin was sitting at 18K, and he's like, "This is the time to be buying in." Okay, so that's the kind of insight that you're gonna get. So if you guys are really looking to really amp up your education in this world of trading, this is for those of you who want to actually do this for the long term. You want to start building your accounts, growing your accounts. Check out the seed program. There is no better place that you can start with. Okay, the seedlings are in the chat. Come on in, ask them questions, ask us all questions. Everyone's going to be there to answer them. But right now, Sean, I wanted to get your thoughts. You did a dedicated video. I wanted to get your thoughts on Bitcoin dominance and altcoin season. What do you see happening here? Because there's a lot of interest right now in the altcoins. XRP, XLM, Cardano, that is just building up. So what are your thoughts on how this all sort of plays out? What is that big picture that you're seeing? What is the narrative that you're seeing play out?
Okay, so there are a lot of questions.
It's a high level thing. And I feel like this is like I think you'd have a better sort of idea. I think you're the right person to ask here. What are your thoughts on how this all unfolds? Where Bitcoin is sitting at, where BTCD is sitting at, as well as where the altcoins are currently sitting at.
Okay, so let's start with Bitcoin dominance. Remember, Bitcoin dominance, guys, is an index. Okay, just like how people get confused with Dixie. People think that just because Dixie is going down, it means that the dollar is weakening. That doesn't necessarily need to be true. The dollar could be going flat and the other currencies could be going up, right? Similarly, Bitcoin could be going flat or be going up, and all coins could just be going up way faster. Now, with that being said, that's what we want, right? We want all coins to be going up, right? That's why everybody cares about Bitcoin dominance. I am beginning to see a few people say, "Hey, Bitcoin dominance has come down, but it done so in the past as well, and it's bounced." This is where your trend indicators, your objective tools, as well as your trend analysis, like advanced trend analysis module from the C program, okay, for some new seedlings have been asking, just joined the program, and they've been asking me whether they should prioritize certain modules over others, and I don't think you should. I think you should watch the entire thing. With that being said, the one module that will really be beneficial at this phase of the cycle is going to be the advanced trend analysis module. This phase. There are other phases where the support and resistance module is important. This phase, do not skip that module, the advanced trend analysis module. Okay. Now, you need to understand that Bitcoin dominance has done something special over here that cannot be ignored. Okay, and we're going to be using a combination of our objective tools, where it keeps you in check. That way, your own subjective bias doesn't come the way, along with our analysis. Okay, our trend analysis. What's going on here? The biweekly dynamic has been officially claimed by the bears. Okay, we can see that we have closed a great candle underneath. All right, awesome, which means that all coins have been doing really well. Now, some people have been saying, hey, we've broken down before in the past. Well, in the past, we did not break the biweekly dynamic. On top of that, you can see that this U bottom formation over here, right? We held trend structure. Okay, when the market is going up, it can come down, and then do this and still hold trend. The depth of how deep it goes does not matter as long as it does not break the previous low, right? It does not matter. So you can come, the percent does not matter. So when you see an analyst measuring the percent, it does not. It's that analyst doesn't know what he's talking about. All that matters is structure. A trend that does this does matter. Okay, so if you have an initial move up and then a shallow move down, okay, and then a bounce and then a breakdown, even though this percent over here might measure 10% compared to this move here, this is far more bearish. It doesn't matter that it's only 10%, it's bearish, right? So taking that into consideration, where we actually have that exact structure, a down move, an up move, and a down move, combined with the fact that we lost a biweekly dynamic, you have to take this seriously. You have to take this seriously, unless it's a complete strong bear trap, baiting people into selling all their Bitcoin, and then we reverse this and continue up, which then will turn into a mango fake out breakout pattern. We'll get to that if it actually happens, but you cannot play for that right now because it has officially triggered. Okay, you have your low, your lower high, and a new low, right? You have taken out the previous low, and we close underneath our objective indicator. So objective indicator has been claimed, and our analysis is telling us the same freaking thing. Take this seriously. That being said, okay, I want you guys to keep in mind that if you turn on your simple 21 exponential moving average on the monthly time frame, sorry, not the bi-weekly, on the monthly time frame, okay? So this is a simple mango technique that we've been using for years now, the 10 SMA, 21 EMA combination. We are about to lose the 10 SMA in 11 days if we do close. We haven't closed underneath it yet, but let's say we do. The biweekly is giving us, the biweekly dynamic is giving us a clue that we're likely going to. You should not be fading any test of the 21 EMA without expecting at least a bounce around that region. I wouldn't trade this to say that we're definitely going to reverse to the upside. Oops.
That's the SMA. That's a 20 exponential or a simple?
This is the 21 exponential, Kusha, the 21 EMA. Okay. The red is the SMA. Okay. So I use the 10 SMA and I use the 21 EMA. What I'm trying to say is that we could come down here and see a bounce into a lower high and then a move down. Okay. I don't know when it's going to happen. I'm just saying that we're not too far away from it. Just be careful around that region if you guys care about your Bitcoin. Okay. If you guys care about USD, then it's a lot easier to trade around this. So around the 21 EMA region, just be careful. Like algorithms on their own step in to balance around that. That's a spot where a lot of traders are gonna rebalance their profits, etc., etc. It's just automatic. It's just what you do. Okay, right? You'll see some reaction there. When you don't see any reaction there, it's going to be a sign of extreme bullishness on all coins, right? So either way, it's going to be something to pay attention to. So I'm just saying, what I'm saying over here is the altcoin season has activated, or rather altcoin outperformance. I don't want to say season. Altcoin outperformance has activated. Guys, by the way, I don't buy into altcoin season. I don't buy into that idea at all, because it forces people to make stupid decisions, or rather it traps people into making stupid decisions, and we'll get to that. I think that altcoin outperformance has activated, right? So get into that mindset. But when we come to around that region, you don't want to be caught with no Bitcoin whatsoever, because if Bitcoin starts rallying and your altcoins are not, you don't want to feel that pain. Unless you don't care. If you don't care, then just don't even look at Bitcoin, right? This is great. I do want to come back to this idea of altcoin season, Kusha, but I'll give you the stage for now.
It's like Sean gets everyone excited saying that altcoins are going to outperform, but it's not going to be altcoin season, guys. He's like always like giving them, pulling back.
Okay. Do you want me to explain what I mean by that?
Huh?
Do you want me to explain what I mean by that? That altcoin outperformance has been activated, but
no. We will go over this. Like, I mean, I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm teasing, Sean.
Okay,
I'm teasing. Sean is always more tempered. You guys need to understand. Like at home, we're very, very different traders. Like when things get bearish, I get bearish with it. I'm like, no, just dump it all, right? So, and Sean always comes in to like temper my emotions and just the amplitude of it, I guess, right? He's like, no, you got to be a bit more unbiased here. You got to look at X, Y, Z. And also, which is also another thing, guys, if you are actively trading, make sure you have a bias check. Okay, it should be either with your indicators, it should be maybe get into the community, make some friends. Okay, but always good to have a bias check, right? You don't want to be stuck into echo chambers. So just make sure that you're covering that, especially if you're actively trading right now. But I agree with you, Sean. And I think this is a really, really good talking about the altcoins right now is very important, because I feel like based on what Bitcoin dominance is doing and based on the charts as a whole, like you can see now my sidebar. I mean, you guys cannot see my screen right now, but my side, like if you're looking at the altcoins across the board, I think we can all agree XRP, ADA is actually looking pretty good right now. But many of the altcoins have actually taken this pullback, right? Now on the recovery, I feel like the main story, okay, the climax is going to be on the recovery of all of these pullbacks that we're seeing across the board. Because throughout this entire cycle, okay, if there's one thing that we've noticed, the one signature, I guess you can call it for lack of a better word, the one thing that we've noticed that on the recovery, Bitcoin has outperformed. And you can look at Bitcoin dominance to see just how well Bitcoin has outperformed on every single recovery that we've had so far. Right? We've had all of these 6-month consolidations. We've had these 20% pullbacks. But in every single recovery of all of these consolidations and all of these pullbacks, Bitcoin has been the one outperforming. However, based on what Bitcoin dominance is doing right now, okay, now, Sean, I want to know your thoughts here. Okay, this is something that you had mentioned to me. If the market recovers here, now, if I had to ask you, give me a probability. Okay, give me a probability of the altcoins doing better than Bitcoin if the market recovers here. What is the probability of that?
Altcoins doing better than Bitcoin if the
On the
market.
recovery
Okay.
from here.
Specific altcoins are going to do tremendously better than Bitcoin if Bitcoin recovers from here. If Bitcoin does not break down, I think specific altcoins are going to do tremendously better. If you guys are expecting altcoin season, expect again another time, right? It's not happening this cycle. I have strong conviction on the idea that the idea of altcoin season that everybody has in their mind may not have ever existed, right? They delude themselves into thinking it did. It bothers me. And people look back and they look at the previous cycles with rose-tinted glasses and be like, man, everything was pumping. That's not true, okay? Everything was not pumping at the same time. And a lot of people, very few people made money. The people who made money in the non-euphoric stages were the traders who recognized that you got to buy strength, period, okay? So specific altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin tremendously. If you ignore that idea, okay, and you do not put on your trader's hat or an investor who likes to buy strength hat, if you don't do that, you are going to be watching other coins pump and wondering, why is my bag not pumping? As soon as you ask that question, as soon as you enter a stream or a Discord channel and say, why are my bags not pumping? Everything else is doing so much better, right? I bought so-and-so coin based on fundamentals, etc., etc. Why is it not pumping? And I've been there, right? I've made all of these mistakes, guys, okay? You need to understand that you are absolving responsibility the moment you say, I'm waiting for altcoin season so my bags can pump, right? You are absolving responsibility. You cannot do that because there's massive opportunity cost over there. You may see an entire cycle go by and your coin may pump at the very end and barely any, right? So I think specific altcoins are going to pump extremely hard, and you got to put in the work. If you're not willing to put in the work, that's the thing, guys. People who say, I'm ready for altcoin season, they aren't willing to put in the work. They're absolving responsibilities and they just want everything to pump. Okay, they'll do research on one coin and they'll say, this is the coin. It makes so much sense, right? Let's tokenize real estate. Of course, let's do it. I'm going to buy the coin. They've not really done the work. They've not really done the work. They've deluded themselves into thinking they've done the work. They buy the coin and wait for altcoin season. Altcoin season will make it pump. No, I think specific coins, and we've been talking about those specific coins. So just all you have to do is open your eyes. Okay, I give you guys enough hints, and sometimes I'm blatantly telling you guys which ones are going to be the coins. I'm literally doing it, right? And those are the coins that do those are the YouTube videos that do the worst, ironically enough.
But if for the ones that don't do, like, if we find that there is not a lot of traction on some of the coins that we are covering and the chart looks really, really good, we will be posting them under the Mango Dashboard Premium video section. Okay, that's what we have been doing. Every time we find a trade setup, we know that the crowd is not on there. What we do is we'll take the trade setup and we post it for the Dashboard Premium members, okay, those trade setups. So I want you guys to start focusing on that because I feel like there's a lot of opportunity. And I want to drive this point through. I'm going to change the chart, Sean. I'm just going to show mine for now. I'm just going to add to stage. Okay, brilliant. To add to Sean's point, and I completely agree. Like, as much as even I would want that 2017 like altcoin season, you guys need to understand one very important fact about this market versus the 2017 market. In the 2017 market, okay, these were the basket of altcoins. Okay, altcoins. As far as people buying those altcoins are concerned, let's say these were the people. Okay, These were all your investors, all of your traders. It's all of these people and all of their money being driven into this basket of assets. Okay. However, this is no longer the case anymore. Okay, I want you guys to consider the amount of altcoins that we had in 2017 as well as in 2021 versus today. This has now grown to this. Okay, this base right here has maybe increased a tad bit, but that's about it. Okay, but there's all of this cash now being spread out amongst all of these altcoins right here. Okay, so it's like liquidity being spread out. So you see those crazy gains that we saw in 2017. Personally, for me, I don't think we see those kind of gains again. If anything, how about this? It's not that we don't see those kind of gains again, but the way every single coin ran together and ran exponentially, I don't think we're going to see that dynamic anymore. If anything, it's going to accrue into the winners, as Sean just mentioned. Okay, so which is why try and identify strength on the chart. That should be your main focus, and focus on strength, because there are going to be laggards more than ever before this market, and those laggards are going to be significant opportunity cost. The worst thing you can do in bull markets is find yourself holding assets that are not moving. Okay, so you hold it through the bull market, make no money, but then when the bear market hits, they go down with everything else. That's the friggin' worst. Okay, so you got to learn how to identify the winner. So I am in the same. Sean sat me down. He's like, no, Krisha, this is what I think is happening. I'm like, I agree. I'm like, okay, I didn't see that sort of playing out. But yeah, I think the winners are going to keep winning. Identify strength, because it's those guys that will that will perform well in my opinion this bull run. So yeah, I'm just gonna clear out my chart. I was telling Sean that I was a bit sort of, the other day I was just like, I'm like disappointed. I'm like, where's the altcoin season? But I feel like this is where people are going to be caught off guard, right?
It's
usually,
again,
sorry, go on.
No, again, I want like use these moments, right, where you're feeling like, where's the altcoin season, to just realize that we are seeing specific altcoins run in a massive way, giving us several hundreds of percents of gains, and people are just ignoring it, waiting for altcoin season that may never come. And the final pump too, guys, the final euphoric altcoin season, or like, let's call it the mango season, right? Because I don't believe every single thing's going to pump. If you guys aren't just hunting for strength wherever you guys can find it, right, you will get caught missing out on that as well. Like, I'm going to share my screen just really quick. And also learn to sell, guys. Like, freaking learn to take advantage of this very idea that not everything will pump at the same time, but they will all have their turn if you're following strength. And if they're not showing strength, you will end up avoiding a bullet, right? But okay, you can see my screen, right? Look at this. Okay, look at this. This thing has been running for so long, right? And you can play the trend on this. And how many days, by the way? 132 days, right? So if it starts drawing down now, we can look towards 180 day. Let's say we do a 6-month cycle on this. By the way, when pertaining to altcoins, it's not exactly 180 days. Each altcoin has their own signature that you have to like learn how to assess these. But this thing has had a 6-month cycle already, right? These are massive gains, and now I've been taking the seedlings too. I've been taking profits on this and the other coin too. May have it here, SPX 6900. It ran for 6 months, right? I do not marry any bag, including Bitcoin, right? I'll play the trends up and the trends down, and I may not short this, but if I can, take massive profits here and do what we did for Sui and reposition somewhere down here. I don't know when it's going to bottom. We'll see the signs, right? The market will either put in a W or put in a pump and then a high low and then go up. It doesn't matter, right? You're avoiding this entire drawdown, and you're doing this mid-cycle. Okay, you're doing this mid-cycle before the final euphoric pump. Okay, so you're collecting and doubling your stash, whether it be on Cardano, whether it be on XRP, whether it be you doing that on Cardano to be able to double your Bitcoin stash, which is what we did, Krisha, in the 2019-2020 cycle. Do you remember that time I freaking 5x that Binance account? And then Bitcoin went on to do a freaking 10x or something, right? That was ridiculous how that played out, because I used the altcoins to 5x my Bitcoin stash, and then Bitcoin went on to do a run. So you doing this in the middle of the cycle, and then you have the final push at the end of the cycle on Bitcoin or your favorite coin, you're suddenly like, holy shit, how did that happen? So I did for Bitcoin. You guys may use Aerodrim over here, for example, to collect Cardano, right? Or XRP. But you use these cycles, use another coin running to be able to collect your favorite coin. I've been saying this throughout this year now. Okay, just because XRP is not running at a particular time doesn't mean you shouldn't take advantage of the other coins that are running. Learn how to build a position, right? Through 2 buys, 3 buys, and then sell a position on the way down as well. And then if you're wrong about it going down, learn how to get back into the trade. If you notice, wait a minute, I'm wrong about this actually beginning a downtrend, I need to get back in because I think this reversal is real. I'm going to buy this higher low over here, right? It doesn't matter that you sold over here. You take a bit of a spread and you continue, right? But if you manage to dodge, right? Let's say now I've been selling this entire period. I've been selling now, even this morning. I've sold here. If it comes down, and I get to reposition here, great. But I'm fully expecting, or rather, I'm fully ready to be wrong on even selling, and I'll have a plan for getting back into this if I need to, right? But so far, it's been going pretty well. And learn to sell if it's not your long-term bag, right? Learn to sell and get back into the position some other time, or wait for another opportunity, because you free up liquidity to get into a new coin that is beginning its cycle. So now Ethereum may go into a slump, okay, for 2-3 months, and another coin will start running. You need to be able to learn to rotate from one to another and take advantage of that until the final hurrah, where you have your mango season, right? Those euphoric pumps will suddenly come. We don't know when. But learn to do this, guys. It's very important. Otherwise, you're always going to be the freaking fish on the poker table, if that's the right analogy, right? You have your shark and your fish or whatever. Don't be the fool. Don't just buy a bag and hold on forever.
Facts. This is wisdom, guys. And you guys should have seen Sean on execution. Sean is like execution master in entering and exiting, but more importantly, exiting. Should see him on the position management. My goodness. I'm still learning. I still sort of watch him execute so that I could sort of build a bit more confidence. But he's like very like fluid. It's like comes to him naturally. He was born just executing.
No. I've gotten wrecked by not executing. Krisha gives me far too much credit. I've gotten absolutely wrecked by not doing these things, guys. Okay, absolutely wrecked. And I had to learn the hard way. I had to learn by getting completely destroyed, by my soul feeling completely crushed. So that's why I do that. I just think back to those days, and I'm not going through that again.
Ariza remembered. She's like, that's why Sean told us to solidify at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, that's the mango word of the year.
Solidify, guys. Okay, let's get on to some of the altcoins. I think we're going to be entering a very, very critical juncture of the market for the altcoins right now. Especially, I'm looking for how they all perform. Now, that's where my eyes are currently at. How they all perform when the markets recover right here. Now, the major thing that I'm noticing right here, the major theme is that a lot of people are worried, well, what happens to the altcoin that I'm currently in right now, right here? Everyone is sort of panicking about this current pullback. As far as XRP is concerned, I am sorry. I am sorry, but you have no business getting liquidated anywhere in this zone right here. Okay, I don't care. Okay, this is bad position management. All right. Right now, XRP has showed us, at the very least, you need to leave yourself a freaking buffer of even like just this much. Okay. Yeah. 40. Honestly, guys, honestly, okay, if I'm being very honest with you, you should not be getting liquidated at all. Okay. And even still, if your liquidation point, okay, especially if it's your entire account, you did not go isolated margin or any of that. If your liquidation point is over $2, you're doing something horribly wrong. Okay, this is the current zone of oscillation. You should be safe in the entire zone of oscillation. If your position is not safe in the zone of oscillation, you're doing something wrong. Okay, $2. I've been harping on about this now for more than 6 months. My goodness. Okay, this is your entire freaking zone. You're getting liquidated. You're doing something wrong. But as far as XRP is concerned, guys, I've mentioned this before. Weekly dynamic. Okay, weekly dynamic is that cyclical indicator that's been like really, really good in guiding the entire bull run so far. Not just in this cycle, but in all previous cycles as well, right? The number one thing that I've noticed is that when XRP begins its trend, I did do a dedicated video on XRP, I believe yesterday I dropped one. But when XRP begins its trend, you guys can go ahead and pull this up as well. 12-hour dynamic is where it really likes it. That's where the trend is often established at. When it starts violating that 12-hour dynamic level, okay, I cannot access my tools at the bottom right now. There we go. When it starts violating the 12-hour dynamic level, you know that, okay, the trend has broken, something different is happening. If you are sitting heavy in profits, you want to start taking profits off the table, that's your signal right there. Okay, for those of you looking to figure out, hey, can I get a better bid opportunity? That's your signal right there. Okay, so far we lost the 12-hour dynamic once again. Okay, once again right here. And what do you know? We've come back down to tap the entire weekly zone. Okay, now I want you guys to have your eyes on the weekly zone. For as long as we're holding this, guys, XRP is still safe. We're looking, I know this is a rather thick zone from $2.89 down to the dynamic level. Kind of narrowed out there though, right? $2.59. Okay, this is your entire zone right here. So for those of you looking to build your long-term XRP positions, I mean, this is a good buying opportunity. All right. However, for those of you, I'm sorry, I'm still so fixated on, Sean, what do you have, like, liquidation on XRP above the dynamic level? It's upsetting. Okay, I don't want you guys doing that. So right now we've lost 3 dynamic. I think this comes down, quite honestly, to the bottom of that zone right there. I'm looking at the weekly, at the very least, the weekly level right here, $2.58. I'll make this easier for you guys, okay? If you guys start seeing closes underneath this region right here, your 10 SMA, $2.80. I'm even talking about daily closes, right? If you start seeing weakness around that region, let's get on over to the daily time frame. Okay, if you start seeing weakness around this region right here, and I really like this, it sort of lines up with these lows right here. If you start seeing weakness along $2.80, then we can expect a tap at the bottom of the zone at 259. Okay, this is your weekly dynamic level. I think this would be an excellent bid opportunity. But right now, I believe that the XRP is still safe on its macro trend. So as far as the XRP's bull run is concerned, I think that this can still very well continue its bull run. Okay, so yeah, don't get liquidated, guys. Please manage your positions well. If you find your liquidations in it anywhere over $2, you're doing something wrong. You are over positioned. Your position size is too large. It's too large. Okay, everyone always looks at the profits, the upside. How much can they make if price goes up to XYZ price point? But I feel like a lot of traders often ignore, the opposite side, because this is a game of probabilities. Yes, there's a probability that prices rally from here, but there's also a probability that it actually draws down from here. Are you protected on the drawdown as well? Are you thinking about that? Are you thinking about that outcome? Because if you're getting liquidated on such small moves, and compared to XRP's volatility, this is fine. This move that we're seeing to the downside is still within its range of volatility. Okay, so if you're getting liquidated on there, you're doing something wrong. It's like you did not consider the position actually moving against you. I'm just going through the comments. I haven't watched a Druckenmiller interview in a while. He's very sparing with that, eh? I'm good. 260 ain't that far off from what you mentioned. Okay. Yeah. I think 259. I'm looking at the weekly dynamic. Like it's been really, really good. It's been very good. I think that's gonna be a lucky bid. Okay, if you look through the entire cycle, that's been the lucky bid. Right? And even if we get on over to the dashboard, let's actually go ahead and check out the dashboard. 12-hour XRP as well as daily XRP, we got like pretty good volatility, right? So these volatility levels are really, really healthy. Tell me that the bears still might have a bit more juice left in them to take this down even further, which is why I would look for those targets if you guys are still looking to build on your positions. Or hey, if you like to play the short swings to the downside, you can take the trade. Okay, but as far as the short swing is concerned, I'd only take it if we start breaking 280, right? So that 10 SMA, I'm gonna change this number right here so it doesn't confuse you guys. But yeah, 280 would be that bid. Okay, so we start seeing weakness around 280. You can then expect that move to the downside. And right now, notice we're actually seeing a pickup on that region, right? But if we start losing, that's going to be a good 7% on the swing. Scotty Trade says there are two options on XRP. One was the triangle with multiple 4-hour closes below 286. It invalidates and turns into a simple ABC correction. What time frame are you looking at? 4-hour? I'm not seeing a triangle more than I'm seeing. I mean, then again, it's not a minor one. It's more like an intermediate pattern. I don't know if this sees any playthrough though, right? There's an Adam and Eve on top. But considering like I'm very sparing with if I notice that we're still above cyclical levels and I'm seeing like this macro pattern, and I'm also of course gauging where we are in the cycle, I'll give the immediate regions of support more importance than the pattern play itself. I'll only look for the pattern to play if we actually break those regions of support. So for me, support priority, cycle support priority, and then pattern play. Where are we right now? 286. Bullish channel, pump it. I'm fumbling with my tools. But yeah, this is XRP. And I also want to show you guys one more thing. XRP BTC. Right? XRP, XRP Bitcoin currently at resistances. I mean, it's sort of in that zone of resistance right there. But I think we start breaking 3096. This is party time. Okay, party time for XRP. I feel like all of these coins that someone mentioned ETFs in the chat, right? Any sort of asset that has an ETF already, or which is currently Bitcoin and Ethereum, or has an Ethereum, has an ETF on the horizon. Of course, this opens up doors to institutional buyers, but I feel like a lot of the market participants as well, I feel like it's going to be like a snowball effect, right? They're going to look at that as bullish. They're going to pile onto those assets. And that's going to, and it goes back to the winners will keep winning this bull run. So identify strength. I feel like these coins might, the ones that we're seeing strength on right now might continue to actually have that strength. Right? So eyes on these kind of coins, eyes on the trends more importantly. As soon as you see strength, identify it, note it down. And also if you find a good trade opportunity, hey, that's an opportunity for you to take the trade. You'll miss 100% of the shots you do not take, guys. Okay, and that's trading. Doesn't matter what the hit rate is. Doesn't matter what the win magnitude is of any system. If you're not taking the shot, you're not going to win. You're always going to be a loser. Okay, you got to keep taking the trade, especially if you found a good system. But yeah, XRP Bitcoin, I think as soon as 3096 gets taken out, it's party time. Party time. Yeah. Miss Scratch Happy says, I love that. That applies to many things. It really does. These are like the small lessons. And I feel like trading is that game though, right? It's one of it's one of these schools of study that you can schools of study. It's one of these let's say, I'm trying not to use an academic word, but it's one of these paths that you take, okay, the path of trading, learning to become a trader, that often has a profound positive impact on every other aspect of your life. You learn so much about yourself, because the thing is that you cannot like make up stuff. Because every time you lie to yourself, that's it. You're just affecting yourself there, right? It's like this world of trading shows you the mirror. You got to take it for what it is and then improve on that. The only person you're going to be fooling at the end of it is yourself, right? So it's always going to get you to be better, like better version of yourself every time you do take a trade, every time you do lose, every time you do learn from it. And your losses, guys, you hold on to it long enough to learn from it and then let it pass, okay? As long as you're not blowing up your account. As long as you're not blowing up your account. So please be careful of your liquidations. Your liquidations are going to be attached to your position sizing. Cardano says, "Gotta go. Great show. Like watching Beauty and the Beast, but which is which? Sean is definitely the beauty here, guys. I can be very loud at home, so I'm pretty beastly. He knows. He's nice about it though. He blames it on he's like, no, you get it from your family.
Oh my God, guys.
So he
Jesus
gets
Christ,
pawned
my
off
family
there.
is so loud. Her family is so loud. Speaking of which, we haven't even got the top signal from your family yet. So we're good, guys. We're good. We good.
We did, but we should tell them though, Sean.
No. Okay, how about this? Okay, I want to show you guys something. Can I show you guys something? Can I get? Okay, we'll wrap up with this.
No, I gotta go over Cardano because I did put it in the title. I'm gonna
Okay,
do that for you guys.
I'll do Cardano for them. I'll do Cardano for them real quick, because
okay, you guys get
you're gonna
Sean's.
spend like half an hour on the freaking chart, Krisha. Like, we shall do like a in-depth, comprehensive analysis on Cardano. Like,
okay, Sean's gonna do Cardano for you guys.
Yeah,
1 second. I'm switching to your chart.
Yeah, go for it. Okay, Cardano, red zone, buy, period, done, over. Retest, reclaim, retest. This is a buy opportunity, in my opinion. If we lose this zone, this entire zone, then it's not a good look. The issue with Cardano is that it's not the cleanest over here on the bi-weekly, because we had a kind of push into the red zone, push underneath the red zone, but I still think you play it based on the red zone. We reclaimed it and we retested, and the market is respecting it, which is very, very encouraging. I think Cardano is a buy. If you look at Cardano BTC as well, that's where you can build even more confidence recently. Look at that. It's looking really, really good. Did have a bit of a pullback over the past couple of days, but again, getting picked up better than Bitcoin. I do like Cardano. Like, okay, I'm going to show you guys the real trade on Cardano over here. Okay, this is what gets me really, really bullish on Cardano. We are seeing an opportunity to build a monthly position on Cardano Bitcoin that could push this really, really hard. I'm talking all the way back to the top of the range, or maybe at the very least to around 3175, right? But I think there's a nice trade over here. Where am I getting that from? Look at the previous cycle. Okay, we had this massive aggressive downtrend where it shook out every single Cardano tourist who held through the entire market and then consolidated for months, going sideways. But when was the trade? The trade was when we put in this low over here, and then we put in a high low over here, and boom, right? Straight to the top of the range, right? Now, we've done the same thing. You had a massive downtrend, boom, had a nice bounce, kind of like how we had over here, right? See that bounce there, right? We had that bounce here. Okay, cool. So downtrend into bounce into higher low, into higher low, right? Now, does it play out the same way where we just go whoop? Does it matter if it plays out the same way? If you guys are playing it that way, you guys are not setting yourselves up for long-term success. This is just a template, okay? What matters is now you have an invalidation. The zone over here is your invalidation, because coming underneath this white horizontal here is where this idea breaks down, because now Cardano is putting a lower low. So what you are playing for now is this low or this horizontal underneath, and this range or this point over here, right? This zone over here. You're going to tell yourself this: I don't care what happens between this point and this point. Cardano could either go up in a straight line, Cardano could break up out of this channel, put in a high low, and then go up there. Cardano could do this, and then do that, right? We don't know how it's going to play out as long as it respects this criteria on the monthly time frame. So now you're Mango, now you're stress-free, now you're sitting back, and you're just watching two inflection points. What happens in the middle is not your problem, okay? Enjoy your time with your family, enjoy your weekends, whatever it is. Don't stress about anything else except for these monthly closes, and watch whether or not we hold this criteria of holding these higher lows and this horizontal over here. That's it. That's your Cardano analysis. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Kusha, any questions?
No, all good.
Okay, good. All right. So I think we can wrap up with that. But I just want to pull up something really quick.
Nicholas has a quick question on AVAX. If you want to give him like a quick.
He says we were speaking of strength. For all, some concern that AVAX isn't showing strength. Okay, I read that is showing strength. That was a bit confusing because he was concerned about it showing strength. Which, why would you be concerned about it showing strength? And it's not showing strength from what I've been noticing. It isn't showing strength as obvious as the XR piece, the Solanas, for example. Sean Krisha, is there any strength for shitwax? Nah, man. I wouldn't touch this. Like, personally, I would not touch this. Now, here's the thing. In a bull market, right, something may suddenly get picked up and suddenly build a narrative, and you want to watch for that. If you have strong fundamental beliefs for AVAX and AVAX, or how I don't know how to pronounce it, then you want to keep some exposure, because you're going to feel like crap if it's not if it does start moving and you don't have a position, right? But at the same time, you got to assess. You got to balance your conviction to opportunity costs, and tell yourself that, you know what, I can't just sit down and watch this entire market go by. I have too much exposed to AVAX over here, AVAX. I'm going to reduce that by so and so percent, maybe drop it down by half, maybe drop it down by 80%, maybe drop it down only by 20%, depending on what size it holds in your portfolio at the moment. And then come back to it when it actually does pick up a narrative, okay? Because price starts moving and then people will build a narrative for it. If it's not moving, it's really difficult for people's narrative to catch hold, right? Because I want you guys to think about something, okay? Let's go to the theme. And I said this years in advance. So no one can tell me Sean is saying that in hindsight. Everyone here who's been watching Mango for a while know that I've said this years in advance, okay? We got bearish over here, and we were looking for the target all the way down over here. People thought I was crazy. I said, it's going to play out. I didn't think it was going to be a waterfall like this, but even this waterfall took a long time. It's years, right? This is the monthly chart we're looking at. We had this target, and we said, okay, guys, as bearish as Ethereum is, it's going to pick up a narrative when the time is right. And what do you know? That's exactly how it ended up playing out. All it takes is you following the TA and waiting for the narrative, and then suddenly you don't need to play. Okay, guys, remember this. Remember, one last thing before we wrap up the stream over here. I even told you guys that when price does come down over here, I'm not going to be able to buy as easily as I want to. I'm going to come up with an excuse to not buy. And that's what happened, right? I had a legitimate excuse, thankfully, and it panned out well because the asset I did get into ended up doing better. But I did not need to get the trade in here. I did not need to get the trade in here. I had to just wait for the strength to show up. I had to wait for the narrative to show up, and we managed to get in over here, right? That's good enough, man. I don't need to bottom tick everything, right? I had the idea. I was ready for it mentally. I was ready for myself to even make excuses for not getting in as a trader. The narrative wasn't there yet. Saw the bounce. The narrative started building. Saw the high low. It did not come as low as I wanted, but held the dynamic. The TA checked out. Boom. So you do the same thing, Ridiculous, with AVAX. Keep an eye on it. Watch it. Wait for the narrative, right? In the meantime, don't miss out on everything else, right? You can, like, I use this to collect more Bitcoin. I'm not an Ethereum bull, right? I'm looking at ETH BTC here, right? It's outperforming Bitcoin. So I collected this much Bitcoin. So similarly, use other coins to collect AVAX if you actually have conviction in it long term. All right. I think Kisha, I think we should wrap up there. It's been an hour, 30 minutes now on the dot.
Yeah. Okay, this was great. We tried something new today. Let us know if you guys like this and you guys want more of the dual live streams. We'll be doing more of this if you guys like this, of course. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in today. We will now see you guys in the Discord chat. Of course, you're going to find the link to it in the description below, themangoway.com/Discord. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day as well as the rest of your week. Thank you all for tuning in. Sean, any last words?
Sorry, I'm just
any last. Okay.
No, Mango, keep it easy, keep it stress-free. And hey,
right.
listen, things, even when things do come down, don't let it put you down. There's always opportunity, even towards the downside. Okay, markets moving is opportunity. Okay, do not ever let it put you down. It's when the markets go sideways that it's actually so boring that you want to freaking shoot yourself. So
all right, thanks guys. Ciao.